The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. One town in Cagayan was spared from the wrath of Typhoon Kiko, which continues to bring heavy rains over parts of extreme northern Luzon. We have Jenny Dongon joining us live from Santa Ana in Cagayan for the latest. Jenny, good afternoon. How is the situation there?
Risa, light rains are currently experienced here in Santa Ana, Cagayan, as the town barely felt the effect of Typhoon Kiko. Typhoon Kiko was forecast to traverse here in Cagayan but did not pass, or the storm or the eye of the storm did not pass and go to Batanes. Santa Ana MDRMO head Marion Miranda said that they experienced heavy rains with strong winds at around 10 last night until 2 a.m. today. The town was placed under signal number 3, but this morning the weather already improved. With this, the MDRMO assessed the area for possible damages. Only minor damage were seen, like crop damage due to the strong winds and rains. Despite this, Miranda said that the palay can still be used. However, there is still no electricity in the whole town of Santa Ana, as some of electric posts were toppled down, an issue now being taken care of by the LGU. 40 families who earlier evacuated due to the typhoon were allowed to go back to their homes. Risa, even though Typhoon Kiko has already passed and is now in Batanes, rescue responders here in Santa Ana, Cagayan are still on standby as the town is still under signal number 1. Risa.
Thank you for that update and stay safe. That's Jenny Dongon reporting to us live from Cagayan. Now, after making landfall in Ivana, Batanes, Typhoon Kiko was weakened slightly and is now moving over the coastal waters of Itbayat. The typhoon was last located at 10 in the morning with maximum sustained winds of 205 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 250 kilometers per hour. The typhoon is moving north-northwestward at 15 kilometers per hour and is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow evening or early Monday morning. In other news, former PNP Chief gov't Sinas has been appointed one of President Duterte's undersecretaries. According to Philstar, Sinas is back in government after Duterte appointed him as undersecretary in the office of the president. Sinas served as the 25th PNP chief for 6 months until he retired in May this year. The former top cop came under fire after holding a many Anita party and violating the ban on mass gatherings while he was still the PNP chief. The president excused Sinas for violating quarantine rules, saying that he would not be removed from his post despite the controversy. President Duterte threatens to withhold government support for the Philippine Red Cross if it does not submit financial records for auditing. In his talk to the people, the chief executive once again lambasted Senator Gordon and the PRC, saying that he will formally order the private entity to open up its records for government audit. Duterte maintains that since PRC is receiving financial aid from the government, it can be audited by the state auditors. However, COA has already said that it has no jurisdiction over the PRC. Still, a provision under Republic Act 172 requires Red Cross to submit an annual report to the president on its financial condition. Duterte's threat comes as the Senate investigates the procurement of alleged overpriced medical supplies during the pandemic.
Any money belonging to the government of the Republic of the Philippines given to an agency, whatever be the nature, if you're operating here and you receive the money and spend it, you are accountable to the government, and therefore an audit is in order. Either you submit an auditing procedure or we quarantine.
The dream continues for Phil-Canadian Leila Fernandez as she advances to the U.S. Open Finals. Gretchen Ho tells us more on the athlete's journey in this report.
Another giant slate. The unseeded Phil-Canadian Leila Fernandez defeated the world's second-best Arina Sabalenka of Belarus, booking for herself a ticket to the finals of the U.S. Open women's singles. Sabalenka's heavy serves might have pressured Fernandez, but the teen phenom powered through. 7-6, 4-6, 6-4. Prior to this, Fernandez pulled an upset against defending champion Naomi Osaka and world number 5 Elina Svitolina.
I would say it's thanks to the New York crowd. They've helped me today. They've cheered for me. And they never gave up. They never gave up for me. They fought for me. And thanks to you, I was able to win. So thank you, New York. Thanks everyone for cheering for me.
Leila, who was born to an Ecuadorian father and a Filipino-Canadian mother, is happy the years of tears and hard work are now paying off. She also draws strength from her growing number of fans from Canada, Ecuador, and the Philippines.
I'm so happy to hear that everyone in the Philippines is cheering for me and supporting me, so thank you. Unfortunately, I do not know much about the Filipino culture, but I do know that my lolo, he cooks amazing. I just can't wait to learn more about the culture in the future.
I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. She puts in a lot of work to what she does, so it's finally paying off.
All that success, however, didn't come without its challenges and her fair share of doubters.
A lot of people doubted me. They kept saying no, that I'm not gonna be a professional tennis player. But we've gone through so many things together as a family, and I'm just glad that right now everything's going on our side.
Fernandez will face Britain's Emma Raducanu on Saturday, setting up the first all-teens U.S. Open final since 1999, when Serena Williams and Martina Hingis faced off. From unseeded player to rising star, Leila Fernandez's magical run proves that she's ready to go all the way.
There's no limit to what I can do, and I'm just glad that right now everything's going well.
Gretchen Hall, We Are One News.
Hong Kong's democracy is slowly dying as more Beijing loyalists are put into office while pro-democracy activists are being arrested. How will this affect Hong Kong's future? This Bloomberg Quick Take tells us.
So Hong Kong's protests really freaked Beijing out into thinking that they had lost control of the city. China was really just worried that these opposition candidates, these democracy activists, were going to take over the city. So they moved quite quickly. They replaced some of the senior officials overseeing Hong Kong from the mainland perspective. They imposed a sweeping national security law that has outlawed a lot of political organizing and other forms of dissent, and did a sort of sweeping overhaul of the city's electoral system, basically giving Beijing the ability to veto any candidate they don't like for office. Some of the latest things to happen in Hong Kong are the local government insisting that a lot of those local district councillors that won local elections 2 years ago, insisting that they take a loyalty pledge to China's constitution and Hong Kong. And that basically flushed out around 260 opposition candidates. The police have arrested political organizers, people who were trying to do local activism. It generally seems these days that there is very little tolerance, just like in the mainland, for anything that amounts to a sort of alternate power center to the government. essentially we're going to have a legislative council election in December where almost no pro-democracy opposition candidates are expected to run, since many of them have been jailed or have fled abroad. And then next year we'll have the chief executive selected by this committee of 1,500 pro-Beijing loyalists, basically, who will in no way pick anyone who would represent a sort of opposition viewpoint. And even if, in the very unlikely situation that they did, Beijing could veto that anyway. So at the moment, we're looking at a Hong Kong that is geared very much towards its relations with the mainland, combined with very, very strict COVID-19 travel policies that have effectively kind of sealed Hong Kong off from much of the outside world. And we're looking more at a future where Hong Kong is very much a sort of Chinese mainland city geared towards its economic and political relations with Beijing and the broader Chinese mainland than it is with the outside world.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2:15 as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.